The United Federation of Planets is probably one of the best case scenarios that humanity has in the real world, at least that we could ever aspire to. There is no doubt that, on the whole, Starfleet is an organization that we could only hope to ever achieve. That said, there are instances where the men and women that held the banner of the Federation did some truly terrifying things. Let's just get into it.
No one for me today.
I had one. Maria Titalia, wounded in action.
Friend?
Friend of a friend. Actually only met her once. I don't think she'd remember me.
Friend of a friend between the two of us. Well, I know it sounds a bit strange, but I'd say we're off to a pretty good start today.
In 2374, the Federation Alliance was losing the war, devastatingly. It was not only not going well, but ships and manpower were being lost at astronomical rates. Without some form of assistance, the ultimate end to said war would be a Dominion victory.
The Dominion shipyards are operating at 100% capacity. Yours are still being rebuilt. The Dominion is breeding legions of Jem'Hadar soldiers every day. You're experiencing a manpower shortage. But most important, the Dominion is resolved to win the war at any cost. You and I both know the Federation has already put out peace feelers.
Due to this, Captain Benjamin Sisko would work with a former, at least he says he's former, Cardassian operative to orchestrate an elaborate lie that would pull the Romulans into the war and give the Alliance a fighting chance. This involved a clandestine meeting with a top Romulan senator. What makes this decision not only unethical but unbelievable is the fact that it was approved at the highest levels of Starfleet.
But I was off the hook. Starfleet Command had given the plan their blessing, and I thought that would make things easier.
All of Starfleet Command seemed to be in on it. Presumably the admirals of Starfleet Tactical, Operations, Intelligence, and more all conspired to lie to another government. This was so that they could bring them into the conflict that would kill hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of that nation's soldiers and civilians. It was an action against everything the Federation proclaimed to represent. To be fair, though, ideals aren't worth anything if everyone is dead.
Captain, we just received word from Starfleet Intelligence that a Romulan shuttlecraft carrying a high-ranking senator has just been destroyed.
Which senator?
Senator Vreenak. He was returning to Romulus from a diplomatic mission to Sakara when his shuttle exploded. The Tal Shiar are investigating, but preliminary reports point to sabotage. They believe that the Dominion is responsible.
Speaking of when Starfleet was in the pale moonlight, the ultimate failure of the operation to deceive the Romulan Star Empire backfired spectacularly. After this, a sole officer would become an accomplice to outright murder. Even though he likely didn't know about it, he would become an accomplice to actions that honestly probably would have been brought up by the Romulans themselves. In the end, this man would not only endorse it, but keep it to himself. This operation resulted in at least 2 innocents being killed, the Romulan soldiers, 1 senator that had committed the crime of only hearing the Federation out, and a few criminals. Truly not Starfleet at its best.
I kept thinking just how many people had to have been involved in the conspiracy to infect him with the disease. Computer experts, doctors, security officers, admirals, clerks. In the end, I came up with at least 73 people. Thing that slithered its way into the heart of the Federation.
If you can believe it, this wouldn't be the worst atrocity of the entire Dominion War, though. The morphogenic virus is an easy go-to about the ultimate betrayal of Federation principles, but it's actually not the worst part of it, at least in my opinion. Yes, the use of the virus was probably the pot calling the kettle black when they seemed very aghast that the Dominion had done it in a previous war, especially since the Dominion hadn't done it in this war. Perhaps the Dominion had learned their lesson. But what is more insane to me is that it was backed by the Federation Council, and they refused to give the cure.
The Federation Council considered giving the founders the cure, then they decided against it.
Then they're abetting genocide.
I don't condone what Section 31 did, but the founders started this war, not us. Giving them the cure would strengthen their hand. We can't do that.
They didn't want to give it away because they didn't want the Dominion to rebound. They were okay with genocide if it meant the Federation won.
The Federation claims to abhor Section 31's tactics, but when they need the dirty work done, they look the other way. It's a tidy little arrangement, wouldn't you say?
While it's easy to look how the soldiers of blue served during war, it wasn't only then that Starfleet was callous.
I cannot deactivate the auto-destruct, but at least I have the satisfaction that you will die with us.
Not, I think, today, Commander.
During the quote-unquote Golden Age, shout out to Lore Runner, Captain Jean-Luc Picard and Riker would find it quite funny and be unconcerned when a virus had infested a Romulan warbird, and they simply decided to leave, thinking the matter was funny.
Prince Picard,
Yes, Captain.
take us out of here. The Romulan vessel is set to auto-destruct and they can't deactivate.
Wait now, Mr. Data. Warp speed, please. Just in case Taurus's engineer is not as efficient as our Mr. LaForge.
Aye, sir.
So, what's been happening here? Same old routine, I suppose?
The ship was about to explode, and the Romulan crew were terrorized. They thought it was their last moments in this universe. Ironic that Starfleet officers thought it was a joke, and it was more an afterthought to get them instructions on how to save the ship. Good one, Picard.
Energizing.
Janeway straight up murdered Tuvix. Yeah, even Canon agrees with me on this. Deal. As I stated before, Starfleet is the best of the best, but that doesn't mean that, we'll call it human nature, doesn't present itself from time to time. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next Lore Reloaded.